At the couples therapy session, my wife told the therapist, "I've been faking it for years. He's just not man enough." I nodded, shook the doctor's hand, and left. That evening, she found divorce papers and her credit card canceled. She's been calling me sobbing. I, 34M, walked into that therapist's office thinking we might actually save our marriage. 12 years together, 8 married, and I genuinely believed we could work through whatever was eating at us. The past 6 months had been rough. Constant bickering, zero intimacy, and this growing distance that felt like a canyon between us. Dr. Martinez seemed competent enough. Her office was warm, filled with soft lighting and tissues strategically placed everywhere. My wife sat across from me on the beige couch, arms crossed, that familiar look of disdain already creeping across her face. I should have recognized the warning signs right there. The session started normally. Dr. Martinez asked about our communication patterns, our shared goals, the usual therapy talking points. I answered honestly, admitting my faults, acknowledging where I could improve as a husband. I talked about working longer hours lately, maybe not being as emotionally available as I should have been. I owned my mistakes. Then came my wife's turn. She shifted in her seat, uncrossed her arms, and looked directly at the therapist. What came out of her mouth next felt like a sledgehammer to my chest. She told Dr. Martinez that she had been faking everything for years. Our entire intimate life, every moment of affection, every time she said she loved me, all of it was performance. She said I wasn't man enough for her, that she had settled because she thought I was safe and stable, but that she regretted it every single day. The room went completely silent except for the ticking of some clock I hadn't noticed before. Dr. Martinez looked uncomfortable, clearly not expecting this level of brutality in what was supposed to be a healing space. I felt something inside me just shut off, like a circuit breaker flipping. I didn't argue. I didn't defend myself. I didn't even ask questions. I simply nodded, stood up, shook Dr. Martinez's hand, and thanked her for her time. My wife looked confused by my reaction, probably expecting me to break down or fight back. Instead, I walked out of that office with a clarity I hadn't felt in months. The drive home was the longest 20 minutes of my life. Not because I was emotional, but because my mind was working faster than it ever had before. I wasn't angry. Anger would come later. In that moment, I was calculating. See, what my wife didn't know was that I had been preparing for this possibility for weeks. Not consciously, but some part of me must have sensed what was coming. 3 months ago, I had quietly moved most of our assets into accounts she couldn't access. I told myself it was just financial planning, protecting us from potential market volatility. But deep down, I think I knew. I had also been documenting everything. Her explosive outbursts, the nights she came home late without explanation, the credit card statements showing purchases at hotels and restaurants I had never been to. I'm an accountant by trade. Details are my specialty. That evening, while she was at her sister's place complaining about our therapy session, I executed a plan I hadn't even realized I was formulating. First call, my lawyer. We had worked together on some business clients' divorces, and he owed me a favor for referring him significant business over the years. He had divorce papers ready within 2 hours. No fault divorce, but with a very clear delineation of assets based on documentation I had been unconsciously gathering. Second call, the credit card company. As the primary account holder, I canceled her access to our joint cards and removed her as an authorized user on my personal accounts. Every subscription, every automatic payment tied to those cards, all of it stopped immediately. Third action, I changed the locks. Our lease was in my name only, something we had set up years ago for tax reasons that now served me well. Completely legal, completely justified. Fourth, I transferred the remaining joint funds into my personal account, leaving exactly half in a separate account for her with a debit card I would give her with the divorce papers. Fair, but final. By the time she came home at 9 p.m., ready to probably continue the conversation from therapy, she found divorce papers taped to the door, her key not working, and a note explaining that her belongings would be packed and ready for pickup the following day. The first call came at 9:23 p.m. I didn't answer. She called 17 more times that night. I didn't answer any of them. The voicemail started apologetic, then angry, then desperate. She accused me of being vindictive, of overreacting, of not fighting for our marriage. She said the therapy session was just her being honest about her feelings, that couples work through these things. But here's what she didn't understand. There's no coming back from what she said. You can't unring that bell. When someone tells you that your entire relationship has been a lie, that every intimate moment was performed, that they see you as fundamentally inadequate as a partner, there's no therapy exercise that fixes that. The next morning, she showed up at my office. Security had to escort her out after she caused a scene in the lobby. She was crying, begging, saying she didn't mean what she said in therapy, that she was just angry and hurt and wanted to hurt me back. But that's the thing, she succeeded. She did hurt me, deeply. And in hurting me, she revealed who she really was. Not just in that moment, but who she had been for years while I was building what I thought was our life together. Update 1. It's been 3 days since I served the papers, and the calls haven't stopped. She's enlisted her entire family to contact me, painting me as the villain who abandoned his wife over one bad therapy session. Her mother called me heartless. Her sister accused me of being emotionally abusive for cutting off her access to money. What they don't know is that I left her with exactly half of our liquid assets, more than enough to survive while she figures out her next steps. I'm not trying to destroy her financially. I'm just done being her safety net while she figures out if I'm worthy of basic respect. My lawyer says the divorce should be straightforward since we don't have kids, and I have clear documentation of asset separation. She's threatening to fight it, claiming emotional distress and demanding alimony, but she doesn't have much ground to stand on. The hardest part isn't missing her. It's realizing how much of our relationship was built on lies. I keep replaying moments from the past few years, wondering what was real and what was performance. Did she ever actually love me? Or was I just the safe choice while she waited for something better? My brother thinks I'm being too harsh, that marriages go through rough patches and people say things they don't mean. But he wasn't in that room. He didn't see the cold calculation in her eyes when she said those words. This wasn't heat-of-the-moment cruelty. This was someone finally telling the truth about how they'd felt for years. Work has been a blessing. Diving into numbers and spreadsheets gives my mind something to focus on besides the wreckage of my marriage. My colleagues have been supportive without being intrusive, which I appreciate. Update 2. 2 weeks post-divorce papers, and things have taken an interesting turn. My wife hired a private investigator to try to prove I was having an affair or hiding assets. The PI contacted me directly after 3 days, saying he found no evidence of infidelity and that my financial disclosures were completely transparent. He actually apologized for wasting my time and refused to take more of her money. She's now claiming that my reaction was abusive, that I financially trapped her and left her homeless. She started a social media campaign, painting herself as the victim of a controlling husband who destroyed their marriage over one honest conversation. What she's not mentioning in her posts is that she moved in with her coworker, a guy she's been getting uncomfortably close with for the past 6 months. The same coworker whose name appeared on several of those mysterious credit card charges I had documented. My lawyer is thrilled. Her social media rants are actually helping our case, especially the post where she admits to finally being honest about her feelings after years of pretending. She's basically providing written evidence that supports everything I claimed about the marriage being built on deception. The mutual friends have started reaching out. Most are shocked by how quickly everything fell apart, but a few have admitted they saw signs that something was off. Apparently, she had been complaining about our marriage to friends for months, calling me boring and saying she felt trapped. None of them told me, which stings, but I understand why. I've started seeing a therapist individually. Not for the divorce. I'm surprisingly okay with that decision, but to process the betrayal aspect. Learning that someone you loved and trusted was essentially acting for years does something to your ability to trust your own judgment. Dr. Chun, my new therapist, says what I'm experiencing is a form of emotional gaslighting recovery. When someone lies about their feelings for years, it makes you question your perception of reality. She's helping me understand that my reaction wasn't cruel, it was self-preservation. Update 3. 1 month out, and the divorce is nearly finalized. My wife's lawyer advised her to accept the settlement terms after her social media posts, and the PI's report made it clear she had no case for additional support. The most surreal part of this whole experience has been discovering who I actually am when I'm not trying to manage someone else's secret resentment. I've started rock climbing, something I mentioned wanting to try years ago that she immediately shut down as too dangerous and expensive. I've reconnected with friends I had gradually lost touch with because she found them annoying or immature. I'm not celebrating the end of my marriage. There's real grief in watching something you invested years in dissolve. But there's also relief in not having to wonder why the person who supposedly loves you always seems just slightly disappointed in your existence. She sent one final letter last week, delivered through her lawyer. She wanted me to know that she never intended to hurt me, that she loved me in her own way, and that she hoped someday I would understand why she said what she said in therapy. I wrote a response but never sent it. What I wanted to say was that intention doesn't matter when the impact is destruction. That loving someone in your own way, while lying to them about fundamental aspects of your relationship, isn't love. It's selfishness. That I understood perfectly why she said what she said, because it was finally the truth, and the truth was that our marriage was a comfortable arrangement for her, nothing more. Instead, I had my lawyer respond with a simple acknowledgement and a request for no further contact outside of legal necessities. The house feels different now, not empty, but honest. I'm not pretending to be someone I'm not walking on eggshells, not trying to decode the mood behind every glance and comment. I'm just existing as myself, and after years of feeling like I was failing at being the man my wife wanted, it's surprisingly peaceful. My therapist asked me last week if I regret how quickly I acted after that therapy session. I told her no, I don't. Sometimes clarity comes in an instant, and when it does, the only mistake is doubting it. She stopped calling. The divorce will be final in 2 weeks. I've already started planning a solo trip to Colorado, something I've wanted to do for years but never did because she hated outdoor activities and made me feel guilty for wanting to do things without her. I'm not ready for another relationship, and I probably won't be for a while. But I'm ready to stop living like I need to earn someone's affection by being less than who I am. That therapy session destroyed my marriage, but it might have saved my life. Looking back, the saddest part isn't that she lied to me for years. It's that she robbed both of us of the chance to have authentic relationships. While she was pretending to love me, some other man might have truly appreciated who she was. While I was trying to be worthy of someone who had already written me off, I could have been building something real with someone else. But that's behind me now. The papers will be signed soon, and then this chapter closes completely. I'm actually looking forward to finding out who I am when I'm not trying to be enough for someone who had already decided I wasn't.